Testing. Hello, hello. Welcome. Hey, everybody. Mountain Man here. Let me see. We're looking a little peaky. Let's bring it down a touch. There we go. Don't want to blow your eardrums out here. How we all doing today? Um, yeah. So, the last time I did this, I just want to start this off with like a little information. But the last time I did this little thing here, I hurt my throat a little bit. So I talked to the classmates on the Discord that you join when you are a member of the classes. And they said that I should work on possibly, um, what's it called? Like reading out loud, start slower. Because maybe, like a lot of people, they're probably more so um, experienced in acting, things of that nature. So they're used to projecting their voice, and I'm not. I'm definitely not. Like I've done streams where I talk, but it's not like to the extent of what voice acting is gonna take a toll on. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, we're just gonna go over the warm ups only, and I'm going to do a little casual reading out loud, which is like, so what they're basically saying is that my voice is a fat fuck, and I need to walk with it before I run with it. Because, like a heavy person, when they start running right off the bat, can hurt their knees if they're not used to moving their legs as much. So they have to start with just a casual walk around the block. And that's what enunciating, pronouncing every word, opposed to trying to manipulate the vocal cords right away. So one thing they said was like talk through my breath, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't think I understand it. I think I have to practice my panting, the few things that I have to do, and I don't know why this isn't just okay. We'll just drag that over. It's not like Google. We're gonna open up. Sorry. So we're gonna practice the warm ups, and then wait. We have class two. I guess class two starts on the 12th. Okay, we don't have to worry about that right now. Okay. So what they were saying is like you have to lose the tension in everything else, and you have to talk with your breath. So you have to I don't think I have to push out like that, but at the same time, I don't know. You know, like they were very non-specific about it, to be honest. Um, so what we're gonna do is just our warm-ups. It's all silly stuff, things that people look funny doing. Let's tab to new window. Bring this over. We're gonna open up the main page here. Boom. We're gonna do our doggy pants. So they're basically saying like you have to just relax everything, right? And it should flow a little more natural and feel better this way. So let's give it a try, right? So what we're gonna do is you're gonna start off with your tongue sticking out. I'm gonna relax as much as I can my throat, my chest, my muscles. Stick the tongue out. We're gonna take a breath in and then just pant outward. No in out, but just outward for as many times, and I think I can do about 15 to 20. So, All right, we're doing all right there. So I would say we're about halfway done. We'll probably double that, and then we'll be feeling pretty solid on that. There's there's has to be like a relaxedness to what I'm saying, so I can't be overly excited all the time. We have to work with how our voice actually portrays a how it works is like your breath has to carry your voice out. And as far as I'm concerned, like we're trying not to talk in our throat. We're trying, which I don't fully understand, but apparently just standard talking really helps with that for extended periods of time. So we are going to read an excerpt from a chapter of a book today. The book is, let me get the name of the book for you guys real quick. The Name of the Wind, the Kingslayer trilogy. Um, we're going to do some more doggy pants. All right, and I think we did about 200 right there. At this point, we're going to do some lip trembles, and I have another technique I'm going to probably try out tomorrow, which I was told like you breathe bubbles through a straw, but you keep them very consistent. It helps with learning how to use your breath. And right now I'm just talking a little bit, and it's been very difficult. Like I don't know if I'm doing it right. I'm not too sure. It just seems kind of odd to like to not try and talk through your throat. So we're gonna do lip trembles, which is just motorboating basically, and we're just gonna do that. And you want to feel it in when you're humming in your nose and your lips. So tickles. not sure if I'm even doing it right, but yeah. All right. We have to do this for a minute. I'm sorry, I'm tired today. I had a cup of coffee earlier too, but yeah, we're not going to overstress our voice on projecting too loud. I'm just not used to projecting yet, so this is going to be super helpful. They say to help with this. So all right, that was about a solid minute. And then there's also one where you have to breathe out your teeth and make a hissing sound. So wait, I did submit homework. Where's mine? Okay. So I also got some weird stuff up here. These coins. Mark is red. The reason you got this received from earning achievement journey to 1,000. You can use your CCC. No, you're breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. I don't know who responded, but mark all as red. Open projects. I'm in this one, so let's see. Let's see if somebody has commented on something I've done. Show the auditions. Here's mine. No upvotes, no comments. Okay. Let's go check it out again. And this was another one I did. 14 auditions. Here I am. No upvotes, no comments. Perfect. Okay. Well, that's just what it is. I mean, we're gonna get used to it is all. So, no biggie. Let's go back. All right. So, I guess at this point I'm just gonna do a little reading. And we're going to just practice pronouncing the words properly and enunciating everything. One of the scrivs led me out of the stacks while the other ran to fetch Master Lauren. When we emerged into the entryway, Ambrosia managed to look confused and shocked. He overreacted the part, but it was convincing enough for the scriv to accompanying me. For the scriv accompanying me. What's he doing in here? What's he doing in here? We found him wandering around, the scriv explained, with a candle. What? Ambrose's expression was perfectly aghast. Well, I didn't sign him in. He flipped open one of the ledger books. Look, see for yourself. Before anything else could be said, Lauren stormed into the room. His normally placid expression was fierce and hard. I felt myself sweating cold and the thought of the Tekam. Thought of what Tekam wrote in his Theopathy? I don't know what that word is. There are 3 things all wise men fear: the sea in the storm, a night with no moon, the anger of a gentle man. Lauren towered over the entire desk. Explain, he demanded. Explain, he demanded of the nearby skiv. His voice was as tight as a coil of fury. Bart and I saw a flickering light in the stacks, and we went to see if someone was having trouble with their lamp. We found him near the southeast stairwell with his. The skiv held up the candle. His hand shook slightly under Lauren's glare. Lauren turned to the desk where Ambrose sat. How did this happen, Ariel? Ambrose raised his hand helplessly. He came in earlier and wouldn't admit him because he wasn't in the book. We bickered for a while. Flea was here for most of it. He looked at me. Eventually, I told him he'd have to leave. He must have snuck in when I went into the back room for more ink. Ambrose shrugged. Or maybe he slipped in past the desk in Thomas. There should be in. Okay. So, yeah. I stood there, stupefied. What little part of my mind wasn't leaden with fatigue was preoccupied with screaming pain across my back. What? That's not true. I looked up at Lauren. He let me in. He sent Flea away and then let me in. What? Ambrose gasped at me, mortally speechless. For all that I didn't like him, I must give him credit for a masterful performance. Why in God's name would I do that? Because I embarrassed you in front of Flea, I said. He sold me a candle, too. I shook my head, trying to clear my head. No. He gave it to me. Ambrose's expression was amazed. Look at him, he laughed. The little cocker is drunk or something. I was just whipped, I protested. My voice sounded shrilled in my own ears. Enough, Lauren shouted, looming over us like a pillar of anger. The scurv went pale at the sound of him. Lauren turned away from me and made a brief, contemptuous gesture towards the desk. Relar, Ambrose, is officially remained for laxity in his duty. What? Ambrose's indignant tone wasn't feigned this time. Lauren frowned at him, and Ambrose closed his mouth. Turning to me, he said, Hilaire Cavot is banned from the archives. He made a weeping gesture with the flat of his hand. I tried to think of something I could say in my defense. Master, I didn't mean... Lauren rounded on me. His expression, always so calm before, was filled with such cold and terrible anger that I took a step away from him without meaning to. You mean, he said, I care nothing for your institution, Hilaire Cavot, deceived or otherwise? All that matters is the reality of your actions. Your hands held the fire. Yours is to blame. That is the lesson all adults must learn. I looked down at my feet, tried desperately to think of something I could say, some proof I could offer. My leaden thoughts were still plobbing through when Lauren stood out of the room. I don't see why I should be punished for his stupidity. Ambrose groused to the other scurv as I made my way numbly to the door. I made the mistake of turning around and looking at him. His expression was serious, carefully controlled. His eyes were vastly amused, full of laughter. Honestly, boy, he said to me, I don't know what you were thinking. You think a member of Arcanum would have more sense. I made my way to the mess. I made my way to the mess, the wheels of my thoughts turning slowly as I plodded along. I fumbled my meal chit into one of the dull tin trays and collected a portion of steamed pudding. Gross. A sausage, and some of the ever-present beans. I looked dully around the room until I spotted Simon and Mental, sitting in their usual place as the southeast corner of the hall. I drew a fair amount of attention as I walked to the table. Understandable, as it was scarcely 2 hours since I've been tied to the pennant pole and publicly lashed, I heard somebody whisper, "Didn't bleed," when they whipped him. I was there. No one dropped. Not one drop. It was the Nathralt, of course. It had kept me from bleeding. Nathralt is a drug that he took. Oh, what's up, Alonzo? Oh, Ron, what's up? Thanks, brother. What's up, Alonzo? Yeah, I'm just reading out loud. I have to practice speaking. I'm not doing voices. It's gonna be rather boring, but this is just practice, and this is to hold me there. Right now, we're reading about We're halfway through a book right now. Sorry. But at this point, this kid's in school of magic of some sort, and he's been punished for something he did to a teacher, and then he was tricked into doing something wrong again, which was bringing a candle into a special library for specific people. So we're just reading that right now. And now he is at the lunch hall after he'd been reprimanded, whipped and lashed, and then reprimanded straight after for doing something he wasn't supposed to do that he had no idea he was not supposed to do. Having a candle in a sacred library is against the rules in this place. So, uh, it was the Nuthrot, of course, and that's the drug that he took. So when he got whipped, he wouldn't bleed, and people are commenting on that um, in the mess hall, the cafeteria, basically. It had kept me from bleeding. It had seemed like such a good idea at the time. Now it seemed pretty foolish. Ambrose would never have managed to gull me so easily if my naturally suspicious nature, hadn't been fuddled. I'm sure I could have found some way to explain things to Lauren if I'd had my wits about me. As I made my way to the far corners of the room, I realized the truth. I had traded away my access to the archives in exchange for a little notoriety. Still, there was nothing to do but make the best of it. If I bit if a bit of reputation was all I had to show for the debacle, I'd have to do my best to build on it. I kept my shoulders straight as I made my way across the room to Simon and Mante, that's his friends, and set down my food. There's no such thing as a stack fee, is there? Oh, this is a quote, sorry. There's no such thing as a stack fee, is there? I asked quietly as I slid into my seat, trying not to grimace at the pain across my back. Sim looked at me blankly. Stack fee? Monte dove into his bowl of beans. It's been a few years since I heard that. Back when I worked as a scriv, we tricked the first timers into giving us a penny to use the archive. Call it a stack fee. Sim gave him a disapproving look. That's horrible. Monte held up his hands devastatingly in front of his face. Just a little, just a little harmless fun. Monte looked over at me. Is that what your long face is for? Somebody coal you for the copper? I shook my head. I wasn't going to announce that Ambrose had tricked me out of a whole talent. Guess who guess who got banned from the archives, I said gravely as I tore the crust off my bread and dropped it into my beans. They looked at me blankly. After a moment, Simon took the obvious guess. You? I nodded and began to spoon up my beans. I wasn't really hungry, but I hope a little food in my stomach might help shake off the sluggishness of the Naharot, which is the drug. It's a made up word, so it's kind of, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Besides, it went against my nature to pass up the opportunity for a meal. You got suspended for on your first day, Simon said. That's going to studying like make studying your Chandarin folklore a whole lot harder. I sighed. You could say that. How long did he suspend you for? He said banned, I answered. He didn't mention a time limit. Banned? Manette looked up at me. He hasn't banned anyone in dozens of years. What'd you do? Piss on a book? Some of the scrivs found me inside with a candle. Merciful Toll! Manette laid down his fork, his expression serious for the first time. O Lord, O lore must have, O, old lore must have been furious. Furious is exactly the right words, I said. What possessed you to go in there with an open flame? Simon asked. I couldn't afford a headlamp, I said. So the scriv at the desk gave me a candle instead. He didn't, Sim said. No scriv would. Hold on, Mega said. Was this a dark-haired fellow, well-dressed, severe eyebrows, had made an I don't know this word. I can actually look it up. Hold on. I'd rather look it up and get it right. Exaggerate? 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 No. A scowl. I nodded tiredly. Ambrose. We met yesterday. Got off on the wrong foot. He's hard to avoid, Megan said, carefully, with a significant look to the people sitting around us. I noticed that more than a few were casually listening to our conversation. Somebody should have warned you to keep clear of him, he added in a softer tone. God's mother, Simon said. Of all the people you don't want to start a pissing contest with. Well, it's been started, I said, and I was starting to feel a little more like myself again, less cotton-headed and weary. Either the side effects of the Nathralt were fading, or my anger was slowly burning away the haze of exhaustion. He'll find out I can piss along with the best of them. He'll wish he'd never met me, let alone meddled with my affairs. Simon looked a little nervous. You really shouldn't threaten the other students, he said with a little laugh, as I tried to pass my comment off as a joke. More softly, he said. More softly, he said, you don't understand Ambrose is heir to the Byron of the Vista. He hesitated, looking to Manat. Lord, how do I even start? Manat leaned forward and spoke in a more confident tone as well. He's not one of those nobilities. He's not one of those nobility who dabble here for a term or two, then leave. He's been here for years. Climbed his way from Raylar, I think. Raylar. He's not some seventh son either. He's the firstborn heir, and his father is one of 12 most powerful men in all of Vintes. Actually, he's 16 in the pre-rage, Sim said. Sim said matter-of-factly. We've got the whole royal family. The Prince Regents, Mara Alavron, Duchess Samantia, Colotus, and Melun. Lackless. He trailed off under Manette's glare. He has money, Manette said simply, and the friends that money buys. And people who want to curry favor with his father, Simon added. And people who want to curry favor with his father, Simon added. The point is, Manette said seriously, you don't want to cross him. Back in his first year here, one of the alchemists got on Ambrose's bad side. Ambrose bought his debt from the moneylender in Emer, and then the fellow couldn't pay. They clapped him into debtor's prison. Annette tore a piece of bread in half and dabbled butter into it. But the time his father got him out, he had lung consumption. Fellow was a wreck. Never came back to his students. And the masters just let this happen? I demanded. All perfectly legal, Minette said, still keeping his voice low. Even so, Ambrose wasn't so silly that he brought the fellow's debt himself. Minette made a dismissive gesture. He had someone else to do that, but he made sure everyone knew he was responsible. And there was Tabitha, Simon said darkly. She made all the noise about how Ambrose had promised to marry her. She just disappeared. This certainly explains why Fillet has been so hesitant to offend him. I made a placating gesture to Sim. I'm not threatening anyone, I said innocently, pitching my voice so everyone who was listening could easily hear. I'm just quoting one of my favorite pieces of literature. It's from the fourth act of Dionaka, when Tarus says, "Upon him I will visit famine and fire, till all around him desolation rings, and all the demons in the outer dark look on amazed and recognize that vengeance is the business of a man." There was a moment of stunned silence nearby. I spread a bit further through the mess than I expected. Apparently, I underestimated the number of people who were listening. I turned my attention back to my meal and decided to let it go for now. I was tired, and I hurt, and I didn't particularly want any more trouble today. You won't need this piece of information for a while, Manette said quietly, after a long period of silence. What's with being banned from archives and all? Still, I'm supposing you'd rather know. He cleared his throat uncomfortably. You don't have to buy a headlamp. You just have to sign them out of the desk and return them when you're done. He looked at me as if anxious about what sort of reaction and information might provoke. I nodded wearily. I'd been right before. Ambrose wasn't half the bastard I thought he was. He was 10 times the bastard. Boom! Full chapter. Next chapter is The Burning Glass. So that was one chapter that we read. It basically was just so I can talk for a period of time. And by the looks of it, if I look at like how long I've been streaming right now, which I can't, where's my stream time? There, 39 minutes. I'd say we did probably about 20 minutes of reading right there, which is actually not too bad for out loud. I haven't read out loud for years, especially that much. I usually read in my head, but it wasn't bad. I do feel a little scratch in my throat, so I'm probably going to stop doing anything right now, because the last time I did some of this, I had a hard time talking for a little while. I'm going to get some water, and we're going to end stream, but I'm going to jump on Call of Duty right now on my Twitch. My link is down below, so if you want to head over to that channel, hit a follow, or if you're watching, I'll be on in a little bit. They did have a major update, but it's nothing I can utilize unless I play with other bigger streamers. It They allowed private matches. So, but you have to have 50 people or more. And I don't think I'm going to get 50 people or more in my own private match. Maybe we'll do some kind of contest with it and see if we can attract some people. But like I said, go on over to Twitch if you want to watch me play some games. Today is Call of Duty, and then I'll be doing that for like 4 hours or so. But right now I'm going to just take a quick break, maybe be on there in about 45 minutes to an hour. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me on Voice Acting 101 today. We did our warm-ups, which was the doggy pants, and we did some of the tss and motorboating and slippery snakes. We also did some reading, and that's how we're going to start. We're very new to this. We don't want to overstress our voice. And I'll be taking a break, getting some water, getting some food, and then I'll be back on Twitch. So go check me out on Twitch, link down below.